Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and today I'm going to be looking at Home Free's cover of Vulfpeck's Christmas in LA. This is a song I'm passingly familiar with. I've heard it a few times. I actually really enjoy it. It has a really cool little keyboard riff at the intro, and it's all round a great vibe. I don't say I know it well, I'm just familiar with it. And I'm really excited to see what Home Free does with it. Yes, Home Free's come around a little bit faster than they usually would on my channel. I decided, after having covered the big ones recently, I was just going to do a reset and kind of come around and do them all again before throwing in too many other artists, just in order to sort of start tackling some of the Christmas stuff, and to spread the big groups out between, or throughout the month. So I'm very, very keen to see this and see what's coming from Home Free for this one. I think it could be really, really good fun. There's also some really cool bass bits in the original, so it'd be interesting to see what Tim or Chance or whoever does with those little bits there as well. And it'd be really interesting. I don't know an awful lot about the song itself in terms of its history. I do know Vulfpeck did some kind of extraordinary things. I remember they sort of I first heard about them because they were one of the first bands that ever their sort of independence was one of their strong points, and without having a manager, they managed to sell out Madison Square Garden, which is bananas. That's really, really impressive, and they did some really, really cool things. There was something to do with Spotify, I think. They found some kind of a loophole in Spotify or something. I briefly looked into them a while ago, because I'd heard about them, and I suddenly realized I hadn't ever sort of really dug into what was going on, and I didn't really at the time either, but I did at least just kind of look for the headlines, if that makes any sense. Probably should have done before I did this video, but I'll do so afterwards. But I am very excited to see what Home Free does with them. They're a super funky group, and I feel like translating that to a cappella could be a lot of fun. So yeah, I don't have a lot more to say about this one, I don't think. So I'm going to jump in fairly quickly on this. I will say welcome back to the channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. If it is, the way I work, I'm going to watch this straight through, beginning to end. I will emote and comment over the top, but I'm not going to stop the video. So if you're just here for the reaction, the first quarter or so of this video is probably good for you. And then I will go back and watch it again from the top. And this time I will interrupt, I will pause, I will offer what commentary and analysis I feel I can, based on what I've just seen and heard with the foreknowledge of having seen it once before. And that's me. That's how I work. Please do like this video if you enjoy it. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell to decide how often YouTube tells you I'm posting. And if you would care to, you can, and this may be new to some folks, I only started this a few days ago, not only can you head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, where you can donate to support the channel, but if you would like to support me on a more ongoing basis, you can now head over to patreon.com/DavidKReacts. There is only one tier. It is $2 Canadian. And it doesn't really get you anything special. It exists as a means. I had a lot of folks, when I did my channel update, express an interest in being able to support my channel on a more regular basis than going in to buy me a coffee every time. So the Patreon is there for that purpose. It will grant you access to my Discord once I finish putting it together. And I will probably put more tiers on it down the line. Right now, I don't have the capacity in my day-to-day life to produce more content that would give you kind of special benefits for Patreon. So that's why there's just the one tier for now. But it's just $2 Canadian. So if you'd like to support the channel on a long-running, ongoing basis, then I would be delighted if you would sign up over there. And I think that's everything. So without any further delay, this is Home Free's cover of Vulfpeck's Christmas in LA. Love it already. Yes. Yes. This is great. iList.
Presents out in the sun.
Yes, Tim.
Stockings, having some fun. Reading, writing, Christmas is here.
I love this video as well.
California, Yuletide cheer. All the little children and all the big children, it's Christmas in LA. All the ladies and all the
Oh, you can't not move to this.
even the gentlemen never see
Yes.
in LA. Whoa, everyone around the world, every boy and every girl, it's time to say,
Yes.
time to say,
Yes, percussion break.
time to say, out there, all the little children and all the big children, it's Christmas in LA. All the ladies and all the little babies, they were singing at the round. Even the
This is infectiously upbeat. I love it.
in LA. All the little children and all the big children, it's Christmas in LA. All the ladies and all the little babies, it's Christmas in LA. Even the gentlemen, never single one of them Christmas in LA.
Oh, there's some really cool stuff going on. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yes. Oh, I love that they show you the snowblower. That is great. That is such a nice little touch at the end there. Oh, I got something in my eye in the middle of that. Excuse me for 1 second. Oh my goodness, that is so much fun. Oh, they did a great job with that. It's kept the enjoyment. It's you know, it's home free. Of course, it sounds complicated, but it's nice because there's a lot going on in the original, and they've kind of translated that really, really well into what they do. I'm very impressed. That video is spectacular as well. I love what they've done with it. I love that they took the line about Santa in a Chevrolet and just ran with it for the whole thing. This kind of contemporary Santa. One of the things I love in storytelling is when someone takes a traditional story and contemporizes it. In Supernatural, the TV series, once they introduced the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, driving like cool cars around and being these contemporary versions of themselves, which obviously that's what Supernatural does, made complete sense. But it was such a fun concept. And I love that here too. Like, let's put a really contemporary take on Santa in a cool car, driving around, you know, using the app for the naughty list. Fantastic. Great concept over such a good arrangement of this song. I'm really, really impressed with that. We're going to jump straight back in and start looking at it again because you can't not be in a good mood when you've seen something like this, right? I should have a quick glance actually before I do. Let's just see if there is any information in the description here. Producer Luke Peace and Ben Haley, director Jimmy Bates, and that's it really. Well, great job. But yes, no real crazy details on this one, which isn't surprising. Yeah, okay, let's go back in, let's watch it again, and I'm gonna see what I can pull out of this one, which I think will be a fair amount. Yeah. Oh, I've done it again. Okay, so first thing is they've got rid of the little keyboard intro, and I actually think that makes sense for them. I love it. I'm a keyboard player. I absolutely love jazz, funk, blues, all that kind of stuff. So having a little keyboard riff to start something off is completely up my street, but I think it works not having it here. I think it suits their style, it suits what they're going for with the song. Just having the abruptness of the snare hit. Yeah, it's a really, really good choice, and it just lets them go straight into the groove. And I think it kind of gets the video moving, which, you know, they don't have the amount of crazy things going on that are in the original video. They've got their own take on it, and this is actually a really nice way of starting in, because that's something else as well. The introduction to a song does need to gel with what the video is doing, and sometimes that means having a little intro riff over a black screen even, or over something that's sort of, you know, you're opening a letter that's going to spur on the rest of the video or whatever. I'm just pulling stuff out of my head right now. Sometimes you just want to get into the groove and get the video going with your group, and that's what's happened here, and I think it's a fantastic choice. So, yeah. Going back on that. I think it's an interesting choice. I just realized, starting on the very abrupt movement from Rupp as he goes into that percussion. We don't always necessarily see him visualize something that aggressively, especially early on, to have the huge hand movement as well. There's something dynamic about that very sort of sharp movement there. It's quite a ballistic motion, and I like it. I think that's a fun way of actually starting this thing off, and then obviously breaking into everybody doing the do's. I really like how they've structured the chord here, the voicing of the do 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 do. It's really nice. It sets us up really well in that sort of mid-high pitch where Rob and Austin sit so very well. Gives us the space underneath for cool bass parts to come in as we go through the song. It's a great choice on that front. I also love this contrast. I actually think they've done, with the snowblower, they've done a really good job. Like, you can tell, like, you can see on the left-hand side of the screen here, that there isn't really a lot going on snow-wise, so it's, you know, pretty faked up. But at the same time, they've done a pretty good job of mimicking being in, like, a sort of minor snowstorm. And I like that they've got that then juxtaposed against Santa being in bright sunshine. It's very... I've never been actually on Christmas anywhere sunny, but January 2020, I did go to Disney World, and it was such an odd experience for me as someone who grew up in England, which is, you know, varying degrees of wet pretty much all year round, and now living in Canada, where winter is a serious thing. You know, you can get down to minus 40, minus 45, you know, and we're talking sort of in the big cities. Not so much here in Ontario. It does creep down there for a couple of days, but I spent a couple of Januaries in Winnipeg, and, you know, it gets cold there. It was extraordinary to me to be in a climate where Christmas, or the Christmas time, winter time, was sunny. And I was walking around in shorts and a t-shirt. That was the hilarious thing being, of course, the Floridians were looking at me like I was crazy. What are you doing in this cold weather in shorts and a t-shirt? Meanwhile, it's, you know, 16 degrees and quite balmy as far as I'm concerned. It was a very strange experience. But I love that they're in the snow. Obviously not. And Santa isn't. I think that's a really good choice. It gives us... It's a lovely break. It kind of gives me a similar vibe to Remember My Name, where we had the vibrant colours of the contemporary group and then that sepia tone over the kids playing baseball. So the two sections of the video are very much divided. Even while they feel part of the same whole, they're divided by stylistic choices that make them very unique, but don't pull them out of the world that the video is set in. Really, really well done. I love this. There's these three sounds they've got here. Obviously, you have Rupp doing the vocal percussion, but you've got this do 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 do, and then the yeah yeah yeah, and you've got these two things, and it's kind of, it just drops out into the yeahs for the build and then pulls back into the do's again. But then in the background, and I'm not sure who's doing it, you've got this it's this sort of electric guitar synthy thing going on as well, and the mixture of all of that, I think that's why this felt so full to me when I first started listening to it, is there's a lot going on here. And that the little guitar figure is quite in the back. It's not, they're not pushing it right out into the front and making it, you know, the standout sort of sound of the moment. The do's are still the focal point. But I really, really like that they've got so much happening here. Going back on it one more time. Oh, there's little touches in this. There are so many tiny things. That wow, wow, right there as we came into the thing. I love that we have that hold. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it just stays on for a minute. We get the tambourine shake in the background. Just really, really nice construction here of how we're building into starting the verse. That's the other thing, too, about intros, right? You can have a really cool little intro, but it also needs a strong finish. Because it is in itself an end and a beginning. It's the end of the intro, the beginning of the full song. And ends and beginnings are the things that people tend to remember the most. And I do think that an intro, the end of the intro doesn't have to be as strong as the beginning of the intro, because that's the beginning of the whole song. But I do think, do you know what I mean? Like, if you're finishing a section and moving on to the next one, you want it to feel satisfying. And this does. This is a really nice transition from intro into main song. Oh, it's woes, right. And interestingly, now, of course, because we've got more things happening, we've now got the actual vocals happening. There's not such a strong focus on the do's. That little guitar sound is now pushed further forwards, just a little bit. I don't think they have actually pushed it forwards, but there's less going on around it, so it stands free a little bit more. And now you hear it, and you're like, oh, that's happening. Love the variety of vocal sounds. It's just great. I also, this moment of choreography right here, where you have the little jaunty step before Santa starts moving. That's so cute. I love that. Yep, let's go. It's such a nice touch. And the hold on the glasses, he puts the glasses on and there's just that moment before he starts moving. That is so, so well choreographed. I love those choices. Okay, so much happening here. I mean, let's go backwards. That he right at the end there. What a fun sound. He. It's not something you actually hear very often unless someone's mimicking, some sort of laughter. He is not a sound that gets sung terribly often. And it's certainly not a sound that you tend to sing high, because it's quite closed. Ha! Ha! Is a much... I apologize, my high notes are still a little wonky, and I mean, they always are a little wonky, they're more than usual. But that's a much easier sound to produce without having to, really put some effort into it than he. It's much more closed off. If you make those sounds and really focus on what your throat is doing, what the inside of your mouth is doing, even the mouth shape, he, it's much more closed than ha, and that makes it harder to produce a wider range of sounds. And so it's a really interesting choice to have on that final little embellished note before they move into the next section of the verse. I want to go back because there's just so much here that's so good. There. Interesting things here. On Christmas morning is that you then get this unison response. Christmas morning. Everyone's singing the same thing, and then Christmas Day.
Christmas Day. Kris Kringle's driving.
And you even get, I think there's a bass change under there. Boom, 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 boom. I think that those two notes happen under the last chord of that. Really, really nice stuff there, because we're getting slightly different things. We're getting a different feel depending on what the response is that's being given back. Really nice. I also love this touch that he's so excited to get into the car. He's kind of running his hands along it as he passes by. This is just, it's everything about this video is infectiously happy. It's great.
Christmas morning, Christmas Day. Kris Kringle's driving. Yeah, he's driving a Chevrolet.
That's so good. Yeah, he's driving. So small. It's kind of got this almost kind of doo-woppy kind of feel to it, just creeping in for that little moment. I love they're setting a nice tone here by dropping in these little bits here and there. This is so good.
Day. Kris Kringle's driving. Yeah, he's driving a Chevrolet. He left his reindeer. He went way down south. He just had.
Oh, that was nice too. Holds on longer than you think, and doesn't cut off until Tim starts saying "way down south."
His reindeer. He went way down south. He just had.
And whoa, there are so many sounds in this. I picked up that there were a lot going through it, but now that I'm actually hearing, you're getting 2-3 notes out, and then the vowel sound changes again. Like, they're creating such a rich landscape of different vocal tones here. And it's keeping everything, it's another way of keeping things moving. I talk a lot about this, of keeping motion, keeping everything moving forward. You can slow something right down melodically and have a singer suddenly go into a really slow section in the song, but keep the harmony moving underneath, or keep the vocal sounds changing, and it's going to keep the motion going. Now, this doesn't slow down by any stretch, but they've got so many innovative ways of keeping the pace up. This is really impressive.
His reindeer. He went way down south. He just had to see what it's all about.
I love the photos they've chosen for that little section, by the way, but also love the fact that they've all been naughty. That's great. You could have done. I always wondered if they were going to do the gag where one of them was good, but I like the fact that they don't. That's cute.
He left his reindeer. He went way down south. He just had to see what it's all about.
And I love that we have that again from the intro, the do, 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 and it comes back now as a part of the lyric, all about. Really, really nice touch there. Also, at this point where we get to the end of this verse, can we talk about how good Austin is sounding in this? Like, he always sounds good. There's no surprise in my tone here. But this is sounding amazing. There's something about his tone in this that's really speaking to me right now, and I just think he's doing a really great job of this. Yeah, I mean, everybody is, but I just wanted to single that out for a second. He sounds so good.
Just had to see what it's all about. Wrapping presents out in the sun.
This I love so much. This was the section I was talking about, where there's a really cool bass bit in it. It's this dum-dum, dum-dum. And it's fairly bassy in the original as well, but I love the fact that I feel like they've pushed the bass a little more compared to the original here, focusing a little bit on what Tim can do, which, fair play, let's do it. And I think that, again, the harmony here, the way it's been voiced, it's just really nice. These chords just feeling slightly out of place, but not. They're not within our key. If you look at it from a music theory structure, we're going somewhere a little bit different here. But it fits in perfectly, of course, with the nature of the song and this kind of funk vibe that's going on.
Wrapping presents out in the sun. Stuffing stockings, having some fun.
I like that too. Like 3.84 million naughty, 34 nice. Okay, let's do this. This little story they've crafted here is fantastic.
Stuffing stockings, having some fun, reading, writing, Christmas is here.
This is Rob, right? Doing the reading, writing?
Reading, writing, Christmas is here. California, Yuletide cheer.
This is just so well put together. I love that we've got this kind of these interjections coming in between. It's structured so well in a way that's just kind of it's keeping everything moving, but it's also giving us a lot of interest value in what we're hearing, because you've got this dum 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 with the chords that are going on above it, but then this reading, writing, whatever it is that they're doing, this kind of bluesy sound. You've got this the kind of staccato funk mixed with these little blues riffs going on over the top, and it's just this combination is sounding so good. Oh, and little things like that too.
Christmas is here.
Ooh, wow, so much happening. Literally every 2 seconds of this song, there's at least one thing to talk about. This is great.
California, Yuletide cheer. All the little children and all the big children, it's Christmas in LA.
Actually, one thing I want to talk about. Sorry, this just percolated through my brain.
California.
Now, starting here, this is such a small drum fill that Rupp does going between chorus and verse, but there's something about it that just struck me as particularly effective, and I'm not sure what it is.
Yuletide cheer. All the little children.
There's something about the boom, the pattern that he's struck there with the do do do, those slightly syncopated notes that are in there, the little drum fill that Rupp sets up there. I don't know what it is that is kind of like, you know how you listen to a piece of music and it's like someone just struck a bell and there's just a really clear ding going through. Not literally, but in the sense that something sits so perfectly in what's just been arranged, and that just happened with that drum fill, and I don't know what it is, but that was just such a nice transition going into the sort of the All the Little Children, which I guess I'm trying to remember the structure of this now. Is that the chorus? Anyway, moving between sections.
California, Yuletide cheer. All the little children and all the big children, it's Christmas in LA. All the ladies and all the little babies, it's Christmas in LA.
This is lovely. I think the way that they have, again, the voicing in this entire arrangement is superb. But I really, really like what they're doing with it. I love that you've got this, the solo line, and then the in LA comes in chorus. I like the emphasis that's on there, again, kind of really pulling from the original there in terms of how they've done it, but of course they're doing it their own way, and the way that they've chosen to structure it to achieve that effect is brilliant. Really, really like this, and there's a certain extent to which this is slightly repetitive, but it doesn't matter because it's interesting. What they've done with it is really cool. Also, these views, this is gorgeous.
All the ladies and all the little babies, it's Christmas in LA. Even the gentlemen, every single one of them, Christmas.
That's such a great line. Even the gentleman going up there, you have that higher. I cannot remember if the original does that. I've been trying to think about it since I heard it. But it's a lovely touch. I really, really like that. It gives us another level of interest. Again, this whole song, I talk about evolution a lot in my songs. Evolution of a song as you develop through it. And this just keeps building. Every single step of it is building, and that's just another little way it does it. Those little changes to the melody line. Again, that might be in the original, that might be their arrangement. I forget, but it's great, whatever it is.
In LA. Even the gentlemen, every single one of them, Christmas in LA. In LA. Whoa.
Now that's an interesting choice to me there. In
Gentlemen, every single one of them, Christmas in
LA. Both of those we're sitting on the closed where the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and then and they sit on the long note on the second half of the diphthong there, which is not what you'd expect. You might hear more of an in LA, and the diphthong comes right at the end of the long note. But they've chosen to sit it on the E. There's a lot of closed sounds in this. It gives it quite a bright quality that might not be there otherwise. And actually, I love that they're doing something different. It just gives the ear something it's not necessarily used to hearing. And it's great. And then you get the in, L, A, and the A there. It kind of closes. It's like a cadence almost. Where you get to the end of a piece and you have the dum dum at the end and everything feels happy. Somehow closing the diphthong back off again more quickly. I mean, they say it so quickly, it's kind of that would be natural anyway. But it feels like it sort of settles things back down again in some weird way. I'm not quite sure what I'm getting at with this comment, but I like that. That felt good. Also, they're strung together in LA. They don't, there's no, and then we have the in LA, and it breaks a bit more. Oh, the L, I guess the L's hung, but in LA. Even, they still hit the A harder, and so you go from this in LA, A. See, I don't even do it, I have to think about it. But much more strung together, and then the in LA. And they hit them all a little bit harder. It's got a staccato feel, even though the L and the A run into each other. Right, of course that wasn't the bridge. Rob gets the bridge. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. We've slowed down here. Listen to the change in the vocal percussion. It's just, there's little shifts. It's still, he's hitting pretty much, like, all the eighths are still pretty much being hit. For those who haven't seen my channel before, I can't beatbox. I can't do most of the things that you see in these videos. I will still try. The number of notes being hit sounds to me like I don't think it's really changed, but the slight tonal change in the shift, the pullback of the harmony in the background, it feels like we've pulled back, but that repetitive, not repetitive, like the fact that we have the consistency of the amount of vocal percussion that's happening in a single space of time keeps the video moving forwards, even though the pacing has pulled back a little bit. The tempo hasn't. Really, really nice stuff.
Everyone around the world, every boy and every girl.
Love how the vocal sounds have changed. Whoa! It's not full on like we don't have the full wide sound, but it has opened up significantly from the E's and the more constrained vowel sounds that we've been having. Ooh, E. Now it's oh. It's a little wider for this bridge, and that's part of what's giving it this more sort of this wider sound, this slightly, it adds to the quality of the slightly lower sound, the slightly more laid back sound that we're getting for this bridge. And again, this is what I'm talking about. Vocal vowel quality can change how you hear something so much. That's why when you're writing a song, if you're going to have a long note, a high note, a low note, a particularly abrupt note, thinking about the vowel sound that's on there you can really enhance and work with what's going on in your song, rather than just haphazardly picking something. Just small songwriting tip, I guess, for anyone who's doing it. Not that I know huge amounts about that either, but it's definitely something you can hear when you come across it.
Oh, everyone around the world, every boy and
oh, and I love these harmonies. The whoa, whoa, and there we start bringing in a little bit more of that kind of almost bluesy quality to the harmony there, that carries on into the next chord as well. It's gorgeous.
around the world, every boy and every girl. It's time to say.
I love that. I mean, one awesome fill from Rupp, like the whole record scratch concept, but I love that it comes in before, like over the top of the end of the lyrics.
Time to say.
Okay, here's my question, because I'm still learning so much about vocal percussion and beatboxing. Is he doing both of those things at once, or is that layering? Because my brain says it's layering, but I have long ago learned to stop assuming that vocal percussionists are not miracles of nature in some way, shape, or form. And Lane Stein and Adam Rupp, in my opinion, are two of the best. And I'm interested to know to what extent he's producing this much sound all at once versus otherwise. I'm sure folks out there have an idea. Home Fries, hit me up, let me know. Just curious, because I'm just, you know, it's elucidation for me too, understanding how this all works. Whatever it is, even if it's layered, it's amazing, and I love what they've done with it. But there's a part of me that has this sort of, he's probably doing that all at once. I don't know, because didn't somebody say to me at one point that they also try and create arrangements that can be recreated live, in which case he must be doing it all at once. Anyway, food for thought, I'm tangenting, let me know.
Time to say. Time to say. Out there. All the little
Lovely use of suspension there on that long chord, and I love that the resolution is so short too.
out there.
There. It's the resolution down to there. You've got the sort of hang on. It's actually the tonic. There. So it's the tonic, which is therefore the subdominant, the fourth of the chord that we're currently in. We're in the all these numbers. We're in the fifth, the dominant, and then of that chord, we're hearing the subdominant go down to the fourth go down to the third. And I love that the fourth sits for 2 whole beats, and then the third, when it comes in, is 1, but that 1 includes the beginning of the fade out. So it's not even really a full half of the length, it's less than that. And it doesn't need to be any longer because the effect is achieved, we can move on. Just some lovely, lovely choices in terms of the way that this arrangement is structured. I love it.
Time to say. Out there. All the little children and all the big children, it's Christmas. All the ladies and all the
Love that we have this breakdown. We just have the hand claps by way of percussion, and then doof, 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 doof for those 4 chords, and then just back to the hand claps again. Lovely touch, really, really effective. I like the fact they didn't just, it would have been very easy just to leave this whole section as hand claps and not have that little extra bit of oomph from the vocal percussion when those chords are coming in. I really like that they did do that. There's something really cool about the way it breaks this up.
big children, it's Christmas. All the ladies and all the little babies, they were singing at the round. Even the gentlemen, every single one of them, Christmas.
And I love now that you see Santa singing along with Austin. Like, you're merging the 2 worlds together just a little bit. That's really nice too. That little riff there, yeah, whatever it is that he sings there, that is so good. I don't know what, again, there's a couple of moments in here where it's just like, this is so perfect to this arrangement. This one is particularly well done for me. Something about that little fill coming in before the in LA just sits so nicely. And it's something different. It's keeping the interest level high. And that would be where we would have had in LA previously, and we insert this section. And now we're repeating that chorus. It's not really doing anything different, I don't think. I'm not going to go back and do a moment-by-moment compare. But I love the fact that what we do is we now have changed what's happening in the Santa portion of the video. Now he's getting down in front of the car instead of driving around. We've got something changing. And it doesn't always have to be audio. Now for a live performance, you'd now be hearing audio you've heard before, so that's a slightly different matter. But when you're presenting things in video format, it gives us an extra something we can change so that you don't have to always be changing the music. If there's visual interest, that counts too. And if you can replicate that on stage, you can keep that as a part of the live performance upgrades as well, or evolutions rather, throughout the song. You know, it's really cool what they're choosing to do here.
All the little babies, it's Christmas in LA. Even the gentlemen, every single one of them Christmas in LA. Because to Los Angeles, that's where Santa is.
Oh, the quality of this, like, I love that we're going even higher still with Austin. Are those the highest notes we've hit? I'm not sure. I feel like they might be. I think we've hit the yeah, but going up the... No, I can't even sound that. It's the first time I've tried to sing something and literally nothing has come out. No, I can't get there. It's... Obviously, I can't get there cleanly. Apparently, I can't even get there sounding rough. But yeah, you know, this is incredibly high, and just the cleanliness of this whole thing from Austin has been really, really impressive. Oh, what did I click off? I know, have you got this Santa is, and those lyrics are changing a little bit, but the Santa is just repeating kind of gives us this, it's giving us an ostinato that adds over the so we've now got 2 layers of ostinato under this build to the ending. This is great. That's so good. I love, we get that little woo, 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 woo echo at the end of it. Go right up to these high notes. You get the shh going over it. And just as it's fading away, we're not breaking the fourth wall before the song is fully finished. You've got half a second left, and we see the crew watching them perform, the snowblower actually putting this snow out. It's such a well-crafted ending too. I like the level of thought that's gone into this. I mean, I know thought goes into everything that they do. Something about this one is really speaking to me. I don't know if it's just the willingness to be in the Christmas spirit right now. The love of reacting to something upbeat after a couple of weeks of having quieter songs. I don't know. Something is just sitting really well, and this was fantastic. Well played, Home Free. Well played. Presumably Darren, I imagine, was involved in some of the arranging of this. I don't know, but it's. I'm sure folks will let me know. But that was great. I really, really enjoyed that. I think they did a great job of taking the enjoyment and the kind of mix of genres that Vulpec put into their original and making it the Home Free sound, which I'm not surprised by in the slightest, but it's worth commenting on because I think they did a particularly good job of it. That's great. That's great. Love it. Great video, great performances, amazing solo. This is a great showcase for Austin, but also a really good show. It's a great showcase for everybody. Everyone had held their parts down in here. Everybody had a lot to do, and these kind of harmonic constructions, especially where they're so repetitive, you've got to be so on the ball with keeping them sounding good the whole way through, and they did a great job of that too. None of this is surprising, but it's all worth commenting on. So, very, very well played, guys. That was excellent. Really enjoyed. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for being here with me, especially if you still are. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I brought some new thoughts to you about the song, or, brought the song or the group to you. Do check in the description down below. As always, I will have linked to the original. But yeah, that's a great performance, and I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on it and my video, as well as the spectacular original. Please do like the video, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and if you would like to, you can either head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts or patreon.com/DavidKReacts, where you can donate to support the channel if you would care to do so. That's going to be it for now. More holiday content coming up very soon. Thank you very much for being with me for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and have an absolutely wonderful morning, afternoon, evening. Let's go for a morning one. Let's say 9:36 a.m. One day someone's going to message me and say, I finished at exactly that time. No, I don't know why. It amuses me. But take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.